Beneath the hood of your Hyundai lies a marvel of thermal engineering, a cooling system engaged in a perpetual battle against physics. I remember just last week, a man came to me with his 2-year-old Hyundai Tucson. Apparently, it overheated on his way to work and wouldn't even start again. The head gasket was blown to bits. Estimated cost $4,000. He was about to spend that much on something that could have been easily avoided. You see, your Hyundai's cooling system has all it takes to last forever. And while absolute forever seems far-fetched, achieving what might as well be forever, a cooling system that reliably outlasts the life of the vehicle, is an attainable goal. Skip maintenance, and you're looking at the possibility of your Hyundai never coming on again. Complete engine failures, blown head gaskets, and a lot more. Today I'll show you 9 pillars of cooling system longevity that will help your Hyundai's cooling system last 300,000 miles and beyond. Let's get started, shall we? Tip 1. The importance of coolant. In the quest for cooling system longevity, the first and most sacred rule is, coolant is not a commodity. It is instead a precisely engineered chemical, and your Hyundai's aluminum engine block, cylinder head, and intricate radiator cannot operate without it. Just pouring in the wrong type is a recipe for a slow, corrosive death from the inside out. The journey to a 300,000-mile cooling system begins with understanding this vibrant liquid. Modern Hyundai vehicles use advanced coolants based on organic acid technology, OAT, or hybrid organic acid technology, HOT. These are far superior to the old-fashioned green inorganic additive technology coolants. OAT or HOT coolants, often appearing in shades of pink, orange, yellow, or blue, use organic acids to inhibit corrosion. They are designed for extended service intervals, often up to 10 years or 120,000 miles, because their protective additives deplete much more slowly. Using a conventional green inorganic additive technology coolant in a modern Hyundai is a critical error. Phosphate and silicate in those coolants can form abrasive silicate gels and deposits when mixed with Hyundai's specific OAT chemistry, potentially clogging the narrow passages of the radiator and heater core and failing to properly protect aluminum components. On the other hand, using an OAT coolant in an older car designed for inorganic additive technology can lead to corrosion of solder and brass components. This could all only mean one thing. Always check your owner's manual for the exact specification. When in doubt, the one guaranteed compatible fluid is genuine Hyundai long-life coolant. It's formulated to work in harmony with all seals, gaskets, and metal surfaces in your vehicle system. Selecting the correct coolant is the non-negotiable first commandment. It is the foundation upon which every other longevity strategy is built. Get this single choice wrong, and you are fighting a losing battle from the first day you drive your Hyundai out of the dealership. Tip 2. Always use the right ratio. Imagine a master chef carefully measuring ingredients for a delicate sauce. A pinch too much of one element ruins the balance. Your coolant mixture requires just the same precision. Antifreeze straight from the bottle is not ready for duty. It must be married to water in a specific union. The legendary 50-50 mix is praised for a reason. It is, in fact, the scientific sweet spot for holistic protection. Pure antifreeze, ethylene glycol, or propylene glycol, actually has a lower heat capacity than water, meaning it absorbs heat less efficiently. Pure water, while an excellent heat conductor, freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit and promotes corrosion. Mixing them creates just the right solution. A 50-50 mixture typically provides, for 1, freeze protection down to approximately minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit. It also offers boil-over protection, raising the boiling point to approximately 265 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure, well above water's natural boiling point. Finally, it balances fluid properties for efficient engine cooling. But there's still one more important factor most Hyundai owners skip even after getting the ratio spot on. The water quality you use is just as important as the ratio. Never use tap water. The minerals and chlorine in tap water, calcium, magnesium, and chlorides will deposit as scale inside your radiator and heater core, acting as an insulating blanket that reduces cooling efficiency and can eventually clog passages. Distilled or deionized water is chemically pure, making it the only safe partner for your premium antifreeze. Don't forget this. However, if all this seems a bit too much for you, here's a pro tip. For absolute perfection and convenience, use a pre-mixed coolant from Hyundai or a reputable brand. It guarantees a flawless 50-50 blend with the correct type of water, eliminating all guesswork. Precision in the mix is precision in protection. By honoring the 50-50 rule with distilled water, you ensure your coolant excels at all its jobs. Tip 3. The reservoir ritual. The translucent coolant overflow reservoir is more than just a storage tank. Its fluid level and condition provide a real-time report on the health of the entire sealed system. Making a conscious ritual of checking it with the engine cold is the simplest, most powerful habit you can adopt. Now, many Hyundai owners, even actual professionals, don't know how to properly conduct this ritual. You see, a proper check involves more than a glance. Firstly, you must park on a level surface to ensure accurate reading. Secondly, your Hyundai engine must be cool. A hot system is under high pressure. Opening the cap can cause a violent eruption of scalding coolant. That will only get you a painful trip to the ER. You don't want that. Then locate the reservoir. It's usually a white translucent plastic tank with MN and max or full cold marks. Then do what you came to do. Observe. The coolant level should be between the marks. It will be higher when hot and lower when cold. Always check when cold for consistency. Finally, properly inspect the fluid. This is an aspect many people neglect. Shine a flashlight. Is it bright and clear or murky and discolored? Rusty brown or oily contamination are major red flags. A milky chocolatey appearance could indicate a catastrophic failure, like a leaking head gasket allowing oil into the coolant passages. A slowly dropping level over months points to a minor, slow leak, a seeping hose clamp, or a slightly worn water pump seal. A rapidly dropping level requires immediate investigation and a trip to the mechanics. Also, always keep a small notebook in your glove box or use your phone to jot down the date and coolant level each month. This log can help you identify a slow leak you might otherwise miss. This 2-minute monthly ritual is your first line of defense. It transforms you from a passive owner into an active participant, catching small issues while they are still, small. Tip 4. The importance of a purifying flush. Simply topping off low coolant is short-sighted and will lead to disaster. It addresses the symptom, low level, while ignoring the disease, degraded fluid. Over the years, coolant loses its alkalinity, becomes acidic, and its corrosion inhibitors deplete. A proper flush is a complete system rejuvenation, a renewal of its protective essence. Here's something many Hyundai owners don't know. There's a major difference between a drain and fill and a true flush. A drain and fill only removes what's in the radiator, leaving up to 40 to 50% of the old contaminated coolant in the engine block, heater core, and hoses. A professional flush, however, uses a machine to push a cleaning agent through the entire system in a reverse flow, dislodging scale, rust, and debris, then evacuates virtually all old fluid before adding the new. Now for something even more important. Many people always ask the question, when do I flush? Well, here are some tips to know when the time's right. For one, never go by color alone. Next, and most importantly, follow your Hyundai's severe service schedule in the manual, which often recommends more frequent changes, for example, every 60,000 miles, if you do frequent short trips, tow, or drive in extreme temperatures. If you see contamination, don't wait. Flush immediately. If performing a partial service yourself, consider using a coolant system cleaner before draining. Follow the product directions, typically adding the cleaner, driving for a set period, then draining. This helps break down deposits before fresh coolant goes in. A flush is the cooling system equivalent of a detox and vitamin infusion. It washes away the accumulated sins of the past, corrosion, acidity, and abrasive particles, resetting the system's internal clock to zero and providing a clean slate for the fresh coolant to protect. Tip 5. Be a hose detective. Coolant hoses are the flexible, vulnerable arteries of the system, silently deteriorating from within due to heat, pressure, and electrochemical degradation. A burst hose won't just leak, it will catastrophically fail, draining the system in seconds and leading to immediate overheating. Your mission is to find and replace them before that happens. So you have to conduct a biannual inspection before summer and winter. With the engine coolant off, inspect all visible and accessible hoses. Begin with the main radiator hoses, upper and lower. After that, inspect the heater hoses. Those are the smaller hoses running to the firewall. Next up, the bypass hoses. Those are the smaller, often overlooked hoses near the thermostat. Now there's also a method for proper inspection. This involves squeezing along the length of each hose. It should feel firm yet pliable, not soft, mushy, or brittle. During your inspection, look for bulges or swollen areas, especially near clamps, micro cracks on the surface like dry, cracked skin, glazing, or a shiny, hard surface, and finally green or white crusty residue at the ends, indicating a slow seep. If you notice any of these, the hose has likely deteriorated and needs to be replaced. When replacing a hose, install a new high-quality worm drive or constant tension clamp. The old spring clamp may have lost its tension. Also, consider replacing all major hoses as a set. If one is aging, the others are close behind. Your fingertips are sophisticated diagnostic tools. This hands-on investigation builds an intimate understanding of your vehicle and allows you to proactively address one of the most common causes of cooling system failure. Tip 6. Keep an eye on the water pump. The water pump is the relentless heart of the system. Its impeller blades spin thousands of times per minute, circulating the lifeblood. It often fails not with a dramatic explosion, but with a silent leak or a bearing whine that goes unheeded, which means there's a big chance you'd miss it when it fails. Your coolant choice and maintenance habits are its only guardians. Modern Hyundai water pumps are typically driven by the timing belt or serpentine belt and are lubricated and sealed by the coolant itself. Now, its primary killers are, firstly, abrasive contamination. Grit from degraded coolant or using tap water acts like sandpaper on the seal and impeller. Secondly, chemical incompatibility. The wrong coolant can swell or degrade the seal. And lastly, cavitation. Low coolant level or a weak pressure cap can cause vapor bubbles to form and implode against the impeller, eroding the metal. The best practice is to replace the water pump preventatively whenever replacing the timing belt, as its labor overlap makes it cost-effective. For belt-driven pumps, listen for a low growl or whine from the front of the engine that changes with RPM, and watch for a consistent drip or spray from the weep hole designed into the pump body. Here's a little pro tip. When installing a new water pump, always use a new gasket or OEM sealant as specified, and torque the bolts to the exact specification in a crisscross pattern. An uneven seal will lead to an early leak. Protecting the water pump is an exercise in system-wide care. By maintaining clean, correct coolant and heating early warnings, you ensure this vital component's steady, silent beat continues for the long road ahead. Tip 7. Protect the radiator cap. It's easy to dismiss the radiator cap as a simple lid. In reality, it is a sophisticated, spring-loaded pressure valve and vacuum breaker. It is the gatekeeper that maintains the system's pressurized environment, and its failure, though small, can cripple the entire system's efficiency. For every 1 pound per square inch, (psi), of pressure the cap holds, the coolant's boiling point rises by approximately 3 degrees Fahrenheit. A standard 16 psi cap raises the boiling point from 212 degrees Fahrenheit to around 260 degrees Fahrenheit, giving the system a massive safety margin. A weak cap that cannot hold pressure has 2 dire consequences. 1, the boiling point plummets, making the coolant much more likely to vaporize, especially in the hot water jackets around the cylinders, causing localized overheating and potentially dangerous steam pockets. Second, it can allow coolant to be pushed prematurely into the overflow reservoir, preventing siphoning back as the system cools, resulting in consistently low coolant levels. This means you must always have your cap tested with a radiator cap pressure tester during any cooling system service. They are inexpensive tools. Replace the cap every 5 years or with every major coolant change as preventive maintenance. This humble twist-off device holds the key to high-temperature efficiency. Respecting its role and ensuring its strength is a masterstroke in maintaining the delicate, pressurized balance your engine was designed for. Tip 8. Become a seasonal strategist. Your cooling system doesn't exist in a vacuum. It battles the searing blast furnace of a desert summer and the deep freeze of an Arctic winter. To transform your cooling system to a forever system, you have to manage it with seasonal awareness, taking proactive steps to fortify it against the coming extremes. This means there are spring or summer preparations and fall or winter preparations. For spring or summer preparation, start by cleaning the radiator and condenser fins. Do this using a gentle spray of water and a soft brush to remove bugs, pollen, and road grime from the front of the AC condenser and radiator. Clogged fins can reduce airflow by over 30%, causing overheating in traffic. Next up, with the engine fully warmed up and the AC on, both radiator fans should be running. If they aren't, diagnose immediately. The final step in your spring or summer preparations is using a coolant hydrometer or refractometer to ensure the freeze-boil protection is still adequate. Now for the fall or winter preparation, start with a concentration check. The same hydrometer confirms your antifreeze concentration is sufficient for expected lows. Then inspect heater performance. A weak heater can indicate a low coolant level, a clogged heater core, or an air pocket in the system, all issues to resolve before winter. Finish up by checking for cold weather leaks. Metal contracts in the cold. A small seep at a hose connection in summer can become a steady drip in winter. Little pro tip: in fall, consider adding a bug and tar remover treatment to your washer fluid and giving the front end a thorough cleaning to prepare for spring. By acting as a seasonal strategist, you move from being a victim of the environment to its master. These preemptive actions ensure your Hyundai's cooling system is not just surviving, but optimally thriving in every condition. Tip 9. Heed the early warnings. Mechanical failure is rarely sudden. It announces itself in a series of whispers before it finally screams. Your Hyundai's cooling system communicates through gauges, smells, sounds, and symptoms. Learning this language, becoming a fluent interpreter of its whispers, is the final, most critical skill in your longevity arsenal. You've got to really pay attention and know every nuanced signal your Hyundai makes. For instance, the temperature gauge slowly climbing above its normal midpoint, especially at idle or in traffic, points to low coolant, a weak fan, or a failing thermostat. Is your Hyundai overheating on hills or under load, but is fine on flat roads? Well, this often points to a clogged radiator or low coolant, level UML, reducing capacity. Then there's the distinctive sweet smell of hot coolant inside the cabin, which is a classic sign of a leaking heater core. Once you get that smell, inspect all the heater hoses immediately. If your heater blows cold air, it means coolant is not flowing through the heater core. This could be due to an airlock, a clogged core, or a stuck heater control valve. Are you hearing bubbling or gurgling from behind the dashboard after shutdown? That is a telltale sign of air in the system, often from a leak that's allowing air to be drawn in. Knowing these little quirks always puts you one step ahead. Also, invest in a smartphone-enabled OBD2 scanner. It can show you the real-time, precise coolant temperature from the engine sensor, often more accurate than the dash gauge, and read trouble codes related to cooling fans or thermostat performance. Ignoring a whisper guarantees you will eventually hear a scream. By attentively listening and proactively responding to these early warnings, you perform the ultimate act of stewardship, solving a $50 problem today to prevent a $5,000 engine replacement tomorrow. Achieving a cooling system that lasts the lifetime of your Hyundai is not about a single magic trick or splurging big. It is instead the diligent, consistent application of a holistic philosophy, and these 9 tips make sure of this. It is a commitment to using the right fluids, maintaining perfect mixtures, conducting vigilant inspections, performing timely rejuvenations, and listening with an educated ear. Embrace this philosophy. Become the expert custodian of your Hyundai's cooling system, and you will be rewarded not with forever, but with something far more real and valuable. Legendary, trouble-free longevity. Who wouldn't want that?